And blessed to be a part of your day. Kevin Miller in the morning at KIDO Talk Radio. Thank you all for joining us. Wonderful to be back with you again, starting another day of action, adventure, excitement, enthusiasm, you name it. We are so looking forward to hearing your thoughts at 580-5436-580-KIDO. Joining us now is Dr. Michael Lewis from Washington, D.C. You can catch him in private practice at braincare.center. .com. He's a consultant to the U.S. Army and Navy as well as several organizations talking about nutrition, institutions, companies around the world, and is founding member of the Pop Warner Youth Football Medical Advisory Board. Dr. Lewis, thank you for joining us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Hopefully you're off to a good start this morning.
Well, you're our leadoff, so...
All right. Well, hopefully we're off to a great start then.
By the way, anytime you get a green wave on the program, that's pretty impressive. So
there you go.
Yeah, from your days at Tulane.
Half of your people probably have no idea what you're talking about.
I always get dinged for those inside jokes, but Tulane University in downtown New Orleans, you're a graduate of that, the military academy at West Point. So we're honored to have you here, sir. So we take a look at where we are today with CBD oil. It's a big issue here in Idaho. You've got this recent decision about making this a reality. Your thoughts?
Well, interesting. You bring up I graduated from West Point. I spent 31 and a half years in the Army, went to Tulane. I am a traditional medical doctor with a long history of government service. So me talking about CBD and cannabis is something that I never thought that I would be bringing up, but I've certainly changed over the last 2-3 years, and it's really, when people hear cannabis, they of course think marijuana, but where I go to is actually hemp, which is very different than marijuana. It doesn't have the psychoactive THC in it, and you can go to your local grocery store, buy hemp seeds and different things made with hemp. And so something derived from hemp is considered a nutritional supplement. And you can buy hemp oil, hemp-derived CBD oil at your local holistic pharmacy and over 1,800 stores around the country and online.
Right, and that's a point of contention here in the state of Idaho. Currently, that's not allowed because of the concerns about marijuana, but I love that you're sharing your, I don't know if you want to call it conversion, because many people, including folks at the state government, believe that, this is going to lead to medical marijuana, which leads to recreational marijuana. What's the difference? Is there a special sauce that CBD oil helps folks? We hear it from people that have been impacted positively by it, but again, it sometimes falls on deaf ears.
Well, right, and there is absolutely 100% confusion out there. And again, because cannabis, when you hear cannabis, most people think about marijuana. But what you have to understand is that hemp is very different. Hemp, by legal definition, has to have 0.3% THC or less. So basically traced to not even any amount of THC. So you could consume CBD from hemp all day long, and you're never going to get high. There's no recreational use behind it. It's actually quite medicinal. The CBD and all the cannabis plants is really the medicinal part. I mean, I'm not a marijuana user. I never have been. I spent 31 and a half years in the Army. It's just something I've never grown up with and done. But yet I'm using hemp CBD for my head injury patients, number one, people struggling to recover from concussions. But the other area I found that has been incredibly helpful is for stressed out people. When people are struggling with stress and anxiety, CBD works so much better, so much quicker, so much longer than any of the pharmaceuticals out there without any of the side effects, without any of the psychotropic things like you would get from, say, THC, but a heck of a lot safer than all these pharmaceuticals we have out there for anxiety and depression and mental health.
Does it need to be regulated by the FDA, or Do you just trust people to manufacture it on their own?
Well, like any other nutritional supplement, there's a little bit of regulation. People certainly often say there's not enough, but there's a lot of self-regulation within the industry. So if you're looking for a product, you really should be able to ask the company for independent third-party testing. What's on the label should be, really when you're doing third-party testing, it's telling you, hey, what's in the bottle is on the label and vice versa. And there's actually, Consumer Reports goes out there and looks at that as well. And they did that recently, and there was some CBD products out there that were absolutely way off one way or the other, had things in it that shouldn't. But there's also several good companies that exactly what's in the bottle is on the label.
Dr. Michael Lewis joining us here. Dr. Lewis, anybody ever mistake you for the author Michael Lewis?
I am the author, Michael Lewis.
No way.
But my book that
it's not about Moneyball
last year is
right.
My book is When Brains Collide, and about this work that I'm doing. And I would hope that a couple thousand people would confuse me with the Moneyball guy and buy my book, but that doesn't seem to have happened so quickly.
Well, Dr. Lewis, let me ask you about your work with the Pop Warner Youth Football League. We've got Optimist Football out here west of the Great River, and Brett Favre recently saying that youth football should be banned till you reach 12 or 13. Your thoughts?
Well, Pop Warner is the largest football organization in the world, and we have the medical advisory board. We've taken a very proactive stance on trying to make the game safer, and we have been making the game safer. So when you hear about things like eliminating kickoffs, that actually started with us. The idea of eliminating at the younger ages, and we're making it older and older. We also have decreased and tried to eliminate contact and practices very specifically, and a lot of universities now have caught on to that and decreasing the amount of contact and practices. So we're very concerned about the safety of players and taking big steps and really leading the way in making the game safer. But the step that I take as a physician personally, and with my son who played high school football and now playing rugby, is how do you protect the brain from the inside out? And that's really through nutrition.
How does that work?
Well, the brain's made of fat, and so there's good fats and bad fats, and we certainly know a lot about that now. And omega-3 type of fats, which are very good for the brain, we don't consume enough of it. We consume too much of the junk food and processed foods that have high omega-6s, very pro-inflammatory, cause inflammation, and it needs to be balanced by those omega-3s like you would get from fish or from fish oil supplements, for example. And so when you increase the amount of omega-3s, it has a very protective effect on the brain, and we think that it makes the brain more resilient to injury than just about anything else out there.
Dr. Michael Lewis joining us here. Kevin Miller in the morning on 107.5 FM, 580 AM. What would you recommend a good dose to be? Or if people would love to check out your website, if you could let people know how to get a hold of you, sir.
Well, when I retired from the Army, I started brainhealtheducation.org, or brainhealtheducation.org is the website of my nonprofit. And putting these types of concepts out there for the world for free. And When Brains Collide, the book that I mentioned in there, really digs much more into the detail of this concept of how we use nutrition and fats and oils to help our brain as opposed to a lot of the oils that hurt our brain.
Well, Dr. Lewis, we thank you for your service, and we appreciate you joining us here this morning, and good luck to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, Dr. Michael Lewis joining us. Kevin Miller in the morning here. I'm sure a lot of you love that information about CBD oils from an MD, not just an allopath. they have great information as well, but an MD who has come to see the benefits of CBD oil. Phone number's here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. We've got our friend Liberty Linda here. She's going to tell us about the pyramids. And then we're going to rev it up here this morning. Have you ever had just a great day? And you're thinking to yourself, Kevin Miller, it's a great day every day in Idaho. Whether I'm listening online or on the KIDO Talk Radio app, it's a great day. I'm listening to Glenn Beck yesterday because, we gather in the morning, and then, look, I'm with you. I listen to the station all day long. And to hear the breaking news from Fox News that Justice Kennedy is stepping down. That's what I'm talking about. And for the first time in my lifetime, and probably in your lifetime, 5-4 is not going to be a toss-up with the Supreme Court. 5-4 is going to be us, the conservatives. And I can't wait to get your thoughts on what the libs are going to do next. It's funny. It's humorous the way we go back and forth on this. It is humorous, but it's not National Lampoon's Animal House. It's really real life, just how ridiculous they're behaving. And by the way, I think I have our pick for the Supreme Court. A couple picks. But what do you make of that? Kennedy goes, Bader Ginsburg, and I believe, Stevens? You get rid of those, and Trump brings in 4? And you thought the press had Trump derangement syndrome from the beginning? Oh, my goodness. I don't know how much more crazier it can go, but we'll talk about it next. You're listening to 107.5 FM, 580 AM. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. All right, coming up, wall-to-wall Supreme Court coverage. Kevin Miller in the morning, blessed to be a part of your day. Phone numbers 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Liberty Linda, good morning. Welcome.
Yes, good morning. Now, do you want to hear about the pyramids or our wonderful president?
Well, pyramids might have to wait till Friday, but your thoughts on the Supreme Court? We try and play the hits here.
Oh, everything that's going on in our country is unimaginable and wonderful. We have the greatest president we've ever had. And the Supreme Court, at this time, for Mr. Kennedy to step down and retire so our president can elect another one or choose another one, it's absolutely almost unbelievable. We need it so badly. So anyway, I'm very, very happy about that.
Well, it looks like finally things are breaking in our direction.
And did you see him in North Dakota last night? He was just wonderful. Kevin, let's bring our president to Idaho.
We're working on it, Liberty Linda. We're working on it. Again, we've got that post at KIDOTalkRadio.com, and that is our mission, to bring the president to Idaho.
Wouldn't that be wonderful? But we have to find the largest stadium to put him in. I mean, we need to bring almost all of Idaho here to Boise.
Well, yes, to the Treasure Valley.
Correct. Yeah, Treasure. Well, you know what I mean. The whole valley is fine. We were talking about BSU.
Sure.
But, you're the one that can find the correct location. You do that perfectly.
Well, thank you, Liberty Linda. What do you make of, again, the idea of this Supreme Court? It would be huge.
Well, the controversy is going on over it. We just sit back and watch it and think, what a world do we live in today?
Right.
It's unbelievable. And unbelievable, some of the pitting of the hate there, where we should love one another and try to make our country the greatest country on this earth and work together to do it. That's what I believe.
Okay, Liberty.
Be kind to each other. That's my belief.
All right, tomorrow it's the pyramids, unless some other news breaks, all right?
Tomorrow it's the pyramids. Okay, all right. Have a great day, Kevin.
Thank you, Liberty Linda.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Let's go to Pete in Mountain Home with Kevin Miller at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Pete.
Kevin, listening to the Democrats freak out over the Supreme Court is causing me a wonderful feeling of schadenfreude. enjoyment often malicious at the misfortune of others. And, it's amazing. The Constitution, if it is not a written contract, then it's meaningless. I mean, to say that it's a malleable document, well, then any contract that you sign, hey, go tell the phone company their contract can be changed as you decide to interpret it differently. The Constitution is a written contract between the people of America and the people that form the government. And when we have this kind of screaming by the Democrats over getting a Supreme Court that's going to interpret it the way it was written, not the way that somebody thinks maybe it should have been written, you don't get to amend it without going through the amendment process. And I just, good Lord, I would love to see another couple appointments by President Trump. The left would completely melt if that were to happen.
We've got one. We're going to get two, hopefully 3 and 4.
Oh,
and
that'd be wonderful.
Before 2020. And unlike Bush, you're not going to get David Souter. You're not going to get anybody else squishy, Justice Roberts. You're going to get good conservatives like Gorsuch, hopefully Mike Lee, hopefully some other folks.
You're going to get people who say, here's what it meant. Here is what it meant when it was written, and if you don't like it, go through the amendment process. And
right.
That's what we need.
Right, especially after losing, 3 in a row, 5-4 decisions.
Oh, they're melting down.
Well, I'm sorry, Pete, go ahead.
I said they're melting down. It is so much fun to listen to them. Chuck Schumer and the rest of them. Well, this isn't fair. You shouldn't be able to confirm him until after the next 4 elections. Love it. Oh, I love it.
Well, look, we have been on the wrong side of the Supreme Court for too long.
Yep.
And boy, how do you think you feel if you're Debbie Wasserman Schultz, if you're Hillary Clinton?
Oh, they've got to be just bleeding from the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting too. I have to give Mitch McConnell credit. A, for not going through with Obama's appointment, and B, for saying, okay, you're not going to filibuster this one on Gorsuch. I got to give McConnell credit. There's times I'm not happy with him, but at least on this, he seems to be holding firm.
Well, here's the other one. So much for the blue wave. You get another Supreme Court justice in. You get the tax cuts, 2 Supreme Court justices, tax cuts, Trump holding the line on immigration.
Oh, yeah.
I think the blue wave fades.
Yep. Well, you look at that wonderful socialist intruder they elected in New York City.
Oh, yeah.
And that was with maybe 25,000 votes out of 700,000 people that live there. It wasn't this huge turnout for her.
And yet she was the belle of the ball until Stevens decided, we'll step down. Great move by him. Pete, thank you.
Yeah, it's good news for America, that's for sure.
Exactly.
Well, thank you, Kevin, for what you do, and enjoy the day, man.
It's a great day. Take care, brother.
We need to celebrate a bit here.
Exactly. Take care.
You too.
Happy day. 626, Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Time for traffic and weather together, 107.5 FM, 580 AM. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Kevin. KIDO Talk Radio traffic on 84 east and westbound. We're looking good. We still have that rollover crash we're working on 2026 in Caldwell near Smead. That's right near the Flying J, so expect emergency vehicles there. And finishing mop-up of a fire right near Chinden and 40th. Make your Independence Day super. Start with Bat City Fireworks Superstore. For family fun to the big boy toys. Open every day. Exit 74 in Simcoe Road in Star on State. And on Facebook at Bat City Fireworks. That's your Impact Directory traffic update. I'm Dave Burnett on KIDO Talk Radio.
KIDO Talk Radio weather from the Channel 7 First Alert Weather Center. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, Kevin. Hey, we got a dry cold front moving through once again. Now, dry here in the valleys, but it's going to be some showers possible in the mountain areas, although widely scattered, isolated, and not very much. But a big cool down. Yesterday we're 93, today just 82 degrees. I'm just Channel 7's Eric Gebert.
And let's go back to the phones. We go to Hank in Boise with Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Hank.
Good morning. This is going to have plus or minuses on both sides of the fence in the Senate in terms of the confirmation battle because, for one thing, you've got 3 Democrats who are from states that vote against the conservative is going to be very, very difficult for them to do. One is Heidi Heitkamp in North Dakota, Tester in Montana, and the woman from Missouri. And the thing is that the Republican side, what's going to be tricky is you're going to have problems probably with Jeff Flake and Murkowski up in Alaska. Particularly Murkowski is the one I think will be most likely to cause trouble on this, because if the Democrats play up this abortion issue up on it, she quite likely could wobble on us on it. And the same possibility with Collins up in Maine. So in the Republican majority, there's effectively only one, because I don't think that McCain's going to be returning to the Senate. So this is going to be.
Well, hold on, Hank. Let's break this down. The lady you were talking about, Claire McCaskill.
Claire McCaskill, right.
In Missouri, who has dodged it a couple times. But, you're right. You got Flake to worry about. You got Corker to worry about. You've got McCaskill, not McCaskill, the Alaska lady, Collins in Maine, Murkowski. But Trump is just going to bring the heat, because there is no cover for them. And they either vote to bring in another Neil Gorsuch, or they're going to have a primary challenger with an issue with the support of the president. You're right to point out the flaky Republicans, no pun intended, but the president, unlike any we've seen, in modern history outside of Reagan, can change that dynamic. But again, very astute. So we get, maybe Bill Pryor from Atlanta, from Alabama. Maybe we get, I don't want to see Mike Lee go.
Well, Mike Lee would be in a lot of ways a good, reliable. I don't have any doubt that his reliability, and he's probably in a lot of ways at this point the most confirmable.
Well, do you go Mike Lee, or do you just throw the hammer down and say Ted Cruz? Although that would be tough to lose him since he's running for re-elect in the Senate. That would be tough.
That'd be tough. But I think that the Schumer. This is why Schumer, I think, wants to postpone the vote. And even though he's using the wrong analogy on it, he's the one to shake hands.
Well, Hank, sorry about that. We lost you. If you get a chance, call us back. Phone number is 580-5436. If you're just waking up, big news yesterday. You heard it here on 107.5 FM, 580 AM.
In our country, the selection of a justice of the United States Supreme Court is considered, I think we can all say, one of the most important events, one of the most important things for our country.
There we have it, the most important pick, and here we come. By the way, that is the president. Here's the other side of the equation.
Americans should make it clear that they will not tolerate a nominee chosen from President Trump's preordained list, selected by powerful special interests, who will reverse the progress we have made over the decades.
Yes, Chucky, you call it progress. We call it something else. You don't have the votes. You don't have the high ground. And here we go.
But we have a list of great talented, highly educated, highly intelligent, tremendous people. I think the list is very outstanding.
Right, a deep bench, and eventually, Ninth Circuit. We'll get to you. Phone numbers here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Coming up next, we will take a look at your news, traffic, and weather. But again, back to this has to be, since the election, the best day for Republicans. And by the way, the progressives, the libs, they're already mad.
All right, so John Meacham, yesterday there were several people who were shocked at this news, and saw quite a few people actually with blue check marks by their name saying this was the bleakest moment in their life, and they just didn't know how they were going to move forward with it. There are many things that Donald Trump does that we criticize and talk about.
Cause concern.
Cause great concern, and they are actually violations of constitutional norms. Just for our friends that are suggesting the same here, when you elect presidents, this is what happens. And when Hillary Clinton didn't visit Wisconsin and didn't visit Michigan enough, and when we saw a young woman yesterday with a campaign, a message that was more inspiring in 3 minutes than what Hillary Clinton gave us in 2 years, they can complain about internet, this and that, and the press did this and they should have done that. But the fact is, Hillary never had a message. She ran a horrible campaign. And this is the consequence of it. Is it not? What Donald Trump did yesterday is what presidents do. And by the way, if Mitch McConnell subverted what should be the Senate's constitutional norms of checks and balances, well, then, damn it, Democrats can try to do the same thing.
There we have it. Elections have consequences, and for us, they have rewards. We'll talk about it next. Kevin Miller, 107.5 FM, 580 AM, KIDO Talk Radio. And the big news yesterday, as you first heard here on KIDO Talk Radio, your home for Fox News on the radio in the Treasure Valley. Big event, monumental. You have Justice Kennedy saying, we're done, sayonara, and the president saying, we're going to make this happen. And we're getting your reaction on this at 580-5436. 580-KIDO, Senator Mike Lee earlier this morning on Fox and Friends.
I think he and I see eye to eye on most things when it comes to the Supreme Court of the United States.
Boy, wouldn't that be something if you have another one from the West. First, Justice Gorsuch from the state of Colorado, then the state of Utah. Can you imagine how big that would be in the Mountain West region? John Decker?
President Trump now has the chance to shift the Supreme Court's ideological balance more to the right for decades to come.
We have to pick a great one. We have to pick one that's going to be there for 40 years, 45 years. We need intellect.
The president has promised to choose Kennedy's successor from the same list of about 25 conservative judges from which he picked Neil Gorsuch in February of last year. The White House says it wants to get started on the confirmation process as soon as possible. At the White House, John Decker, Fox News.
Let's go to the phones, and we start with our own beloved liberal Steve at KIDO Talk Radio. Isn't this a great day for America, little buddy?
I think it's a great day everywhere in America, every day. And Tony's stepping down at the end of July won't make any difference.
We've won.
Come on.
We've won. We've defeated liberalism. We've defeated the progressives. We have you on the run. The blue wave is over. The Supreme Court is ours. We have brought back America from the brink from Obama.
You can't bully me by over-talking me, Miller. Who put Tony in? Who put Anthony in place?
Ronald Reagan.
There you go. He was a conservative. He's always voted conservative, except I think twice.
Well, no, not when it comes to social issues.
Abortion, I think he voted against the parent thing. But he's always been a conservative. It's not going to change a thing. Come on, you guys just jump up and down every little tiny switch that gets hit. And I'm telling you right now, Heidi Heitkamp will kick butt, even though it's borderline right now. She will kick butt come Election Day. And
Who?
Heidi Heitkamp in North Dakota.
Look, is this the North Dakota show? No. This is the Idaho show. Who cares?
Trump was running his mouth off yesterday in North Dakota. You heard Liberty Linda. And Liberty Linda, nobody cares about the pyramids. Come on, except the Egyptians. Anyway, it's not going to change a thing. The liberals will always be in charge, and that's just the way it is since the beginning of time.
To quote our great friend Terry, suck it up, Buttercup. It's over. And how would you like to be your girl Hillary Clinton? She had the election. She had trouble in the rigged Democratic primary, beating good old socialist Bernie. She beat Bernie in that rigged contest, and she didn't beat one of the more challenged candidates ever. Outspent him and everything else, and boom, done.
You're going to be just I don't know. I hope you're not suicidal come 2020 when you see the turnout.
Our turnout, you know why? Because America is back. It's great again. This is great news.
You know why, Miller? America never left. America's always been great.
After 8 years of exile under Obama, we're back.
8 years of exile.
8 years of exile under Obama.
Should have been 20 years exile.
Well, too bad for
Fired
Obama.
up, Miller.
He was
We're
good.
always ahead of you. We're way ahead of you. You stay fired up. Go build a pyramid.
580-5436, 580-KIDO. Let's go to Tom Munns, TomMunns.com. Munns Tom Twitter with a constitutional lesson this morning, I think, on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Tom.
Now, what was your first clue? That's so funny. I guess I'm pretty predictable, but that's okay.
My bad.
I get to air it out, and it feels good, man. I've got a chance to talk to you. I go to the gym. I've got better days, man. Spend some time in the Word. I'm doing great.
My favorite Tom Munns story, and I know you get tired of me saying this, but I love and do you still have that video of you with the Montana people? What was it, the park rangers? If you could, you need to email that to me. I'd love to put it up on my, at least on my Facebook. That is my favorite Tom Munns story. And to just do a total sidebar here, you're driving around where in Montana in the parks, you start following the park ranger because she's speeding, and then another one. Tell us the story there.
I can't do that. You're gonna take me completely off the topic.
All right, okay, we'll have to do that for another time, and I'm sorry for derailing you. I just love that story. But anyway, your thoughts on the spring. Yes.
If you want, I'll come in and we'll chat. I'll bring you coffee and we can talk about it. We'll talk about it when I have a little more time. How's that?
Tom Munns showing a lot of discipline this morning and not falling for the ruse usually perpetrated by me. Get him off topic, and they go, "Oh, Tom, we're out of time."
I know. And some people are like, you ought to just shut him up. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just like, oh, my gosh, really?
Okay, hold on. Here I go. I'm turning off my mic.
Yeah, see? Oh. Well, now I'm all confused without you being in the background because it feels like I'm disconnected.
Oh,
anyway,
go ahead.
So the lesson this morning, just a couple thoughts. The idea of constitutional norms. I have no idea what norms actually is. And the other thing is that we've obliterated the Constitution, and we've got to remember they're calling everybody that ever adhered to the Constitution a domestic extremist and put them on a terrorist watch list like I am. And now they're going to mention the Constitution. And does that mean that I'm still on the watch list as a violation of my due process, which I believe is suspension of my constitutional norms? And then the other thing that really scares me, Kevin, and I really want to caution people here, although there is some optimism here that I will share with you, is everybody's putting so much faith in the king and in the president to be able to make a difference. But how quickly we're forgetting that the liberals, Steve will love this, have control of every other means of influence, our public school, church, media, music, and TV. And until we begin to take control and become active as individual American citizens like we're supposed to, the remedies that we're making at the top will be very, very short-lived. We got to remember now we've got a communist that's running for office in Idaho, and we've got one that just sounds like she won in New York. So, all while this Trump stuff is going on, we've got more communist infiltration, and I'm not afraid to use the word because it is what it is. They are in control of our major influential centers, even in Idaho, and we've really, really got to make sure that we're way more active if we really love what Trump is doing. To be able to sit back and say, yay, Trump, look what he's doing, is a violation of the American principles in its own, because we as active American citizens should be actively supporting him if we're actually supporting him at all. And those are kind of the thoughts I wanted to give with you this morning, and I appreciate you allowing me to do that.
But, Tom, we've been down so much on the Supreme Court. I'm with you. But can you imagine what the libs are going through right now? Ha-ha.
No, I'm loving to see them spin. The only thing is I want to make sure that my conservative peeps are very, very cautiously optimistic about this. You got to remember the average American doesn't even know the power that the president has through Article 2 or what the Supreme Court or the power of the Supreme Court. These guys are writing law. And so, and not only that at a federal level, I mean, we've got our own issues on a local level as well with our own judiciary. And you know, the law enforcement is suggesting that that's a remedy for us. And the average citizen that's paying attention knows that it's not. I guarantee you want to start having remedies, you remove the conflict of interest within government, and you'll start seeing remedy. Anytime a judge's retirement fund is cushed by fines that are derived by citations from law enforcement, I would call that collusion.
All right, Tom, thank you. Coming up next, Cindy from Caldwell. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Blessed to be a part of your day. Kevin Miller in the morning. Phone number is 580-5436. 580-KIDO. So there we have it. A new Supreme Court, this time led by conservatives. Let's go to the phones. Cindy, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Hey, Kevin. You go, Kevin, go. And so blessed talking to Tom Munns last week that he started to call back in. Yahoo, Tom, you go. You know, Kevin, I don't care what anybody says. I think yesterday was a great day, and I'm going to believe that we will be getting a person, I don't know who that is, who knows all about the Constitution and is an individual, I don't know who that would be, that is not a judicial activist. You know, over the years, whether it be someone, just think what a vote did. And that's why I am so blessed and so thrilled to hear Raul's voice yesterday, because that man can stand tall. You know, I have to say that iron does sharpen iron, and what we could learn from this last gubernatorial race is that I'm hoping that instead of patterns of behavior repeating themselves, that with Mr. Crapo, Mr. Simpson, Mr. Rich, and Mr. Little, that they will understand that an election has consequences, and although they did nothing back then, that they will, totally support this president, and if they have any understanding at all of the Constitution instead of big government and all that purports, that they will come alongside, this president. So I'm thrilled. I always equate things scripturally, and unlike Maxine Water, I don't take little passages out, but just think what this means to the, pro-life movement. And I'm talking about Psalm 139. Maxine, you are on the other side of good. For you to be porting this insanity at our borders and not wanting this nation to remain sovereign, and yet on the other hand, already, doing everything that the Democrat Party has done to, stop a life which starts, in utero, in the womb. It should be the very safest place, never mind a safe border. I think it's just a big hypocritical thing for all the Democrats, but that is their progressive ideology. Yet we can stand, with our president, as many people on this station do, and just go forward with, as you said before, enthusiasm. And I can tell you wholeheartedly that God is on the side of right. He's on the side of being pro-life, traditional marriage, and having people out there that know. And that's the first thing that he told Moses. The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. And I'm talking about the Judeo-Christian God of the Bible. That I'm unapologetically going to say that our forefathers, in forming the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, was on that side. So keep up the enthusiasm, Kevin. Don't let, just the other side, disparage you or those that are out there, because his truth will march on. Just like we saw at God and Country, we saw it. His truth will march on.
You were dancing at God and Country.
I was worshiping the Lord.
You were into it.
Well, as I told the people at the Idaho Press Tribune yesterday, with their ridiculous, you showed 4 pictures of people that were the worship leaders, getting people to, call on God. What was that all about in your paper? You did nothing to purport our wonderful military, to purport or show a picture of those men at Gowan. I had interesting conversations with their reporters yesterday. No, we were worshiping the Lord. Yeah, you can dance before God.
Right. Great call, Cindy. Traffic and weather together. KIDO Talk Radio, Kevin Miller in the morning. We continue on rolling right along. Fox News next. We're going to talk a little trade war. Then we're going to get more calls on the new conservative Supreme Court. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning.